welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be painting a landscape of Roughtor. It looks like Roughtor, but it's actually pronounced Roughtor. As you saw from the introduction, it's a wild, desolate place until people actually impede on your photograph. It's a place that's on the edge of Bodmin Moor and it's about 1.5 miles from my house. I do frequent it quite regularly and all the year round. Obviously the seasons change and it's a place you don't want to get caught on when the weather, because the weather can change so dramatically. It was very windy on the day that I shot this footage, so it just demonstrates what a wild and desolate place it is, apart from the photo bombers of course. So on with the painting and I'll see you on the other side. Thanks. Okay, first job is a sketch. I'm actually using a paper called Two Rivers, which is made by a pit mill in Somerset. It is a knot finish, but as you'll see from this still photo that I'll flash up now, it is quite a rough grain on the paper. I've used it before and it does give some really pleasing effects, particularly with a landscape like this. So on with the sketch. The photograph that I took, the actual horizon is about halfway down the picture. I'm just going to drop that slightly so that I end up with more sky. You can't quite see it, but there is a border of masking tape actually on this paper. And it's, I don't know whether I mentioned it's the weight. I'm using a heavier weight paper, a 300 pound, as I said, Two Rivers paper with a cold press or knot finish. So we'll just draw in a horizon lightly, just the weight of the pen across there. I'll give me something to work to. And we'll start with Roughtor is here, and what I'm focusing on is the smaller tor, which is called Showery Tor. It's actually a granite wind sculpted piece of rock. It's not been laid, it's actually been sculpted by the weather. It's quite incredible really. I did one similar a couple of years ago called the Cheese Ring, which is actually the other side of Bodmin Moor near Liskeard. A similar sort of construction, but this one, as I say, is called Showery Tor, and Roughtor will be here, Showery Tor will be here. Right, to make a start with the actual rock formation, just quite a way into the sky. Looks a bit like Alien actually. And I'll probably time-lapse this bit just so that you see the sketch develop. Right, that's just a rough sketch done, not too much detail. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mask out the rocks and probably the outline of Router there. This I want to appear trompe l'oeil, which is basically a 3D effect. It'll really make it sharp and stand out against a slightly diffused horizon and background. I've done this before and it does look really effective. So let's mask that out. Again, I'll speed up this process. Right, that's the masking fluid applied. I've got a few spots about, but I need to leave it to dry now before I do any more, because obviously if I attempt to work around this now, it will just make an awful mess and smudge all over the place. Right, we'll make a start on the sky. Now it's sort of, I don't want it too dramatic because basically this is the main focus and I don't want it to detract too much from the rock formation and the rest of it, but I want enough interest in there because it is, well, it's half the paper basically. So we'll mix up a few colours and try and make an interesting sky there. It's quite a big area, so let's get some water in the palette and start with a bit of cobalt. I do like cobalt for the skies. Mix it up fairly strong. A bit more water in that. Okay. Next job is we want some grey for the clouds, which again I'll mix some cobalt. And some rose madder. and just to colour slightly on the warm side as well. So we'll go for some raw sienna. Water that down a little bit. Water it down quite a bit, in fact. I'll just get a bigger. I'll use a height brush to wet some of the sky here. Just get some clean water and away we go. Don't want it sopping wet though. I've probably got about a 10-degree angle on my desktop here, so it means we'll get a slight downhill run of anything we apply. Right, just overlap that slightly. Okay, we'll look sideways. And just that's mop up the excess down here. Okay, get a bigger mop brush. Just quite an area. Let's just damp on that and pick up some blue. Darkish in the corners. There's some gaps for some clouds. Put a spot of water in that just to bring it down now. Strengthen it in one or two places. I think I'll mix up a touch of alizarin as well, just to put in as well. Just with a touch of blue in that, just to put in just lower down. Oh, it's a bit strong. Just at the horizon there. Streak that up into the sky a bit. Just gives a nice purpley glow to that. Just trying to just put some angling into this formation of rocks as well. A bit more blue. Ooh, not too much. Let's just lift a bit of this, I think. Working pretty wet here. New piece of tissue. Let's just put some interest in these clouds now. Right, smaller brush, introduce a bit of this grey. It's on the bottom of the clouds there. So just touch a bit of sienna in that, I think. Grey it up a bit more. Right, blend that in. Dab some of that out now. So it was fairly soft just under the cloud there. Just a bit more there, I think. Using some water just to soften these edges. And the old trusty tissue just to knock it back. Right, we've ended up with some nice hard edges there. I'll probably highlight those just with a touch of gouache just to pull them up a little bit. But I think one or two grey streaks across here, so I'll just make this a little stronger. Let's put some red sienna in that. That's cobalt. Just a bit brown, got a bit more blue in it. Okay, I'll just put a few wisps of cloud across there. Just soften that in. some of the strongest bits out of it. Just give some lines pointing into the rock formation that I'm trying to do there. Let's just soften that edge. Let's introduce a little bit of sienna into that as well. Just a few streaks. And towards the horizon. Straight through that a little. Bit of water. Be careful now because it's getting to the stage where I might get run back if I'm not careful. Just underlying that there and that under there as well. Change my tissue. Doesn't matter too much. I will cover up anyway with. Just wondering what actually might work a little bit in the middle there as well. Just let's mix up a touch of burnt sienna in that. Let's change it to a sort of slightly autumnal sky, shall we? Just to experience what's going on, sort of a sunrise almost. Then we'll end up with a horrible mess. I think that looks quite well actually. That's quite a bit more interest to the sky there. bit more drama. Yeah, I think that works quite well. Let's get the hairdryer on that. Right, that's dry now. I'm going to put a few more highlights with a bit of dry brush work into the sky. At the moment the colours are good, but it's a little flat. So I'm going to introduce a couple of colours. Indian red, Indian yellow. That should hopefully give me a nice warm glow and darken up some of these areas. I may well put some dark grey in there as well. It's all to sort of accentuate these cloud formations and give the impression of a sunrise. Let's mix up a couple of these. I don't actually have these colours in my paint box, so I'll just pop them a little touch. That's Indian yellow. And Indian red. I think I'll mix a couple of them together as well. So I'll put some Indian red over here and have some of the Indian yellow in that as well, just to make up a slightly orangey colour. I could allow them to mix them on the paper, but just give me a little bit more control. Okay, as I say, I'm dry brushing this, so I think we'll start off with a bit of yellow on that. So let's just strengthen that up on my brush, get most of the colour off, and just do a few bits on the clouds. I'll probably go over this with a spot of water as well, actually, so it spreads it out a little bit. Again, I'm doing brush strokes in the direction of all this, the rocks there. It's basically so that it gives a perspective and leads the eye onto the rocks there. That's the idea behind that. Okay, dry my brush off, put some red streaks in this now. That's quite strong. Water that down just a tad. So to some degree this will actually mix on the paper, and I should go over this with some water as well. Do the same here. Right, some water on the act now. Just to spread these around a bit. Colours. Before it dries too much and leaves hard edges. Oops. Just run that out to the edge there. Also that one. Up into those clouds a little bit more. Let's just have a little dab around with a fresh piece of tissue now. Let's just screw it up. You can get sort of straightish lines. Present a new clean bit. Do a bit over here as well. So that gives me little breaks in what I've just done. Yeah, I think that works quite well. Let's get some darker grey mixed up now. Which I did have this as a grey. It's a little bit thin though. So we'll go for some ultramarine. And a touch of burnt sienna in that. So that needs quite a bit more ultramarine there. And a touch of burnt sienna. Touch more yet. Touch more blue, I think. Let's just sort of roll this, just a few bits. Paper's still quite wet, so might be just a touch too wet actually. Blend that in a little bit. Likewise with this, soften it in. Right. Trying to keep these dark bits to the bottom of the clouds there. Soften the top edge. Soften that one a bit. Right, I did mix up a touch of orange as well, which was this one. Let's just put a few bits of orange in there as well. All towards the horizon, I think. Right, get some of the dampness out of that. That one back a bit. And let's just alter that one down a bit, down to the horizon. Right, I think we'll let that dry and then just put a few streaks and white. Just try and brush this onto the top of the clouds here. Sort of drag it with my finger just to blend it into that layer. Okay. blend that in with this spot of water. Too much paint on the brush there. Don't want to completely outline these clouds, just sufficient to where the light's breaking through, and sort of just highlighting the top of the clouds there. I'll be careful to not to overdo this as well. Do this right-handed. Probably getting towards enough now, I think. I think. Might need more later on, but at the moment I think that's enough just to lift those clouds, or perhaps just a touch just down there as well. Just where the light's catching on them. Yeah, I think I'll stop there. Next job will be to remove this masking fluid and then start painting the horizon and also the rock formations.